Today, we're live at the Craft House right on the 101 in Dana Point. We're telling stories that matter and introducing you to some of Orange County's finest people. So put your party pants on and let's have some fun. I'm Claire McKee. Welcome to The Know. Please help me welcome my first guest, Renier Dresser, broker of the Dresser Group.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. So nice to see you.
So good to see you too. Thanks for being here.
Oh, so happy to be here.
Yeah, and you got us the hookup here at Craft House. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. These guys hook me up all the time in the right way.
Yeah, in the right way. So this is kind of your spot, is what you're saying.
Very much so.
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're actually going to be chatting with Blake as well, so we'll get to share all about the Craft House
You'll
as
enjoy
well.
that.
Yeah, so let's talk about you though, Renier. First rite of passage when you come on the show. Please share a fun fact about yourself. What's something people may not already know about you?
Fun fact about myself. I think I mentioned in an email, I once drank moonshine with a Maasai chief in Africa when I went on safari.
Okay, yeah. What's this about? You have to tell that story.
You know, when you go to somebody else's home and they offer you alcohol, you don't ask what it is or why. And the fact that I knew he was the chief, I said, yes, sir. I learned some Swahili, so I just said yes, please, and thank you, and all of that.
Okay.
I don't know what it's made out of, but it tasted like gasoline. But after that, I felt like I got some respect because no cringing, no
you didn't
eyes
even
watering,
cringe.
nothing. Just cold and like, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're stronger than I.
And something I'll never forget.
That's incredible. You're like, no disrespect. I gotta show this guy what's up. Like, I'm gonna take it down.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy, but you know,
we'll go with it. You totally killed it. Okay, so awesome. Let's talk a little bit about something you've overcome in your life. We're gonna totally switch gears here. I think that everybody has such a fascinating story, and we've all been through some stuff before, right? But I like to always focus on the positive and how we make our way out of those dark times, and ultimately it ends up something beautiful and positive. So, what comes to mind for you?
After I graduated college was 2007, and I went out on my own to start doing real estate, 2008, 2009.
Interesting time to get into real estate.
Great time to get into real estate. My family, my friends, everybody said get a job, do something stable, the economy's uncertain, and that was probably the most challenging few years of my life.
I believe it.
At that time, not long after my grandparents died, both of them that weren't married but two different parts of the world, died within 7 months.
Whoa.
My grandfather and my grandmother both had raised me at certain points in my life.
Okay.
So in conjunction with kind of like economic factors, personal things, I was really smart about going to college and taking out as much debt as possible.
Because that's what we're told to do, right? Like you go to college, you take on this debt, and you cross your fingers and hope for the best, right? Because that's what everyone does.
Exactly. And I think all of those things together really made that time in my life incredibly challenging. I made a lot of sacrifices. I joke with people sometimes, and they look at me and they say, well, how old are you again? You know, like, what do you do? And all these things. I said, well, you know, I missed birthdays, weddings, holidays, everything for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Because I was working side jobs to do whatever I had to do to get my real estate business going. And, you know, those are the kind of things that I think back on when I get frustrated, when I struggle, or when, you know, there's an impasse in a negotiation or whatever it might be, right? Like, multi-million-dollar transaction falls apart 2 days before the close. No money, all the work, all the effort's done.
Ouch.
No paycheck.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, okay.
That hurts.
You know what? It's fine. It's going to be fine, because nothing is worse than where I was at that point in my life and the things that I had to deal with personally and professionally, to where today it's like, what do they say? Water over your back? You know, water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
And I say, you know, no crying over spilled milk. Because at the end of the day, I mean, what am I going to do?
Right.
I know that I overcame those things. At this point now is just not a gravy train per se.
Yeah.
But it's easier than what it could have been or what it was at that point in my life.
And there will always be more challenges to overcome, but what do you, looking back now, attribute to you kind of coming out of that? Was it a mindset thing? Like, what really got you out of that time? Did you put your head down and work?
Yeah. I didn't give myself a choice.
Okay.
Failure was not an option.
Okay.
It didn't matter what the challenge was, whether it was renegotiating credit card debts, consolidating student loans, how am I going to pay for this car payment and look like I'm actually successful before I'm actually successful?
Yeah.
All those kinds of things. it's not an if, it's a matter of how.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was raised on, something I grew up thinking, and something I was taught, that both my parents are entrepreneurs. They're both self-employed. So both of them come from that abundance, problem-solving, creative mindset.
Yes.
That, if I put my mind to something and my goal is X, it's not always a straight path.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's this way, that way, backwards, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 8 to the side,
That's
some to the
right.
left.
Clap your hands 3 times.
do the hokey pokey, you do some yoga, and then finally you come back and you're like, okay, I'm stronger, I'm more flexible, and I got there.
Yep.
But how I got there is really what shaped, who I am, or shapes the person that gets to that place, and then turns around and says, holy, we made it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
And how exciting, because then that allows you to be able to share that same experience and expertise with your clients when they're going through really a tough time in their life too. Buying a house it can be so overwhelming. There's a lot going on with that, right? And you can kind of channel that. Let's talk about how that works in your real estate business now.
Sure. I mean, it's funny because the vast majority of my clients are usually older than me. It's just the price point that I work in. Most of them are my parents' age, my grandparents' age. And they function very differently, right? They grew up in a different era, whether it's the Great Depression, the real Great Depression, not our Great Depression, whether they're baby boomers or whatever it is. They approach life differently. They approach transactions differently. And my goal and what I strive to connect with them is help them understand, look, I'm here to facilitate this process. Let me give you my perspective. Let me tell you where you're at. Tell me how you're feeling. I think it was one of my favorite questions ever to ask the client, what are you feeling?
Yes.
And they're confused sometimes. I said, look, I sent you all the paperwork, review it. What are you feeling? And the client kind of gets choked up. And then I think to myself, well, why does nobody ever ask you that? Because at the end of the day, I need to know how you feel, because I need to know how to help you get from A to B.
Sure.
And sometimes the A and a half to the B is the emotional conversation of, are you in love with this property? Do you have to have it? So let's figure out how we're gonna get it. Or are you in love with the next property that you wanna buy, or the next step in your life? Or what is the true motivation, right? The true motivation is almost always emotional. It's rarely logical unless it's a pure investment.
That's so true. And how often do we really ask people, what are you feeling? How do you feel about this?
Oh yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think those are the most powerful questions, where someone understands and they come to a place where they can recognize the other person, which they hired, right? I.e. me or any agent.
Yeah.
You hired me to help you, right? You didn't hire me to sell you. I'm not here to sell you anything. But you told me you wanted to achieve this, and I need to know why you want to achieve it, because I need to know that when the friction comes, when we hit roadblocks, when the buyer says, kick rocks, take it or leave it, I'm gonna pay 2.5 and you want 2.8, I don't care. You can sit on the market as long as you want.
Yeah.
I have to have that conversation with them to say, hey, you told me that you want to sell this property, to downsize, move to Hawaii, and live out the rest of your days. I have to remind them of that so that they can get to a place to say, okay, are we willing to make sacrifices to get there?
Yeah.
And these kind of conversations are no joke, like conversations I had last night, conversations I have this morning.
All day, every day, right?
All the time with people to facilitate that process, right? I mean, our licenses are real estate licenses. They're not therapists,
right?
They're not clinical psychologists. We're not divorce attorneys, or I think all of those things are part of what we do.
Totally.
And at 36, I joke with my clients. I said, look, I've given divorce advice, marriage advice, parenting advice, retirement advice, and I've never done any of those.
Yep.
I've never been married. I don't have kids. I haven't retired. I've just been in real estate my entire adult life. And that's the part that I think separates somebody that has a job that happens to be in real estate and somebody that has a business and it's their life.
Yeah, you're
right?
truly learning these other people's lives as well as a result of that, so you can truly operate with their best interest at heart.
Exactly. And I want them, how else can I convey that to them, right? How else can somebody feel your love?
If you don't know how they feel or anything about them, right?
Exactly.
I love that. So you're a broker with the Dresser Group. Did you just jump straight into brokering, or did you start in real estate? Like, how much did we bite off here?
I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
So once my parents got divorced, the first thing my mom did was consider a new career. What can I do? And I've always respected her for this tremendously. What can I do to provide for my children at the same time have flexibility to take them to school, to be a mom.
Right.
And real estate was that avenue that she found to do that. And so when mom goes to work and I'm 14 and mom needs help, it's not a question of, well, I don't want to, or no, or it's like for me, it was chores. It was,
you're tagging
fill
along.
this flyer boxes, do this, call these people, schedule this. And as the older I got, right, the more mature you become, the more responsibility your parents give you. And it just becomes, show this house. Hey, you want to get a car? I'll co-sign on the loan, but now I need you to meet people.
Okay.
Now I need you to go to properties. And the older I got, it just rolled into, now you're writing contracts. Now you're doing all these things. And I know that we don't disseminate, you can't get a lawsuit on past activities. But by the time I was 15 or 16, I was writing contracts. I was writing multi-million-dollar contracts for my mom that would say, hey, write this contract, this is how I write it, here's my template.
Wow.
Moving forward, write it. And it was the same thing. It was like, hey, this is how you do your laundry. I'm gonna show you once, so now you do your own laundry. And that was like how I just got forced into it in some ways.
You literally grew up in the business.
And then over time, right, you become an adult, you find your way, went to college, still worked in the business, and then try to get away from real estate, right? Because it's parents' business, don't want to do it, whatever. I think my dad even was a mortgage broker for a while when I was younger, and like wanted to go a different path. Wanted to get into the food industry because I love culinary art and wine.
Yeah.
Those are like two of my favorite things in the world.
Love it.
And explored it. This is right after college. Still got my real estate license legally, and then like just did real estate anyway.
Yeah.
And like now it's all I'm pretty much qualified to do legally.
Yeah. Legally.
I can advise people on food and wine and pairings and travel and different things, but I can't advise them legally on those things.
Well, we are here in Dana Point, and if you are a major foodie and wino, tell us what are a couple of your favorite spots. Obviously the craft, but what else is good in Dana Point?
Very much so. Dana Point, among what's already here, what's exciting is that these few restaurants on this corner here, between Luciano's, which is a like community staple. There's an Italian restaurant's been there for ages. They have letters from California State Senate. Politicians have been there. That place is just like a landmark of Dana Point.
Wow.
But Craft House here, Coastal Kitchen on that corner are two of the newer ones that have come in. And moving down closer to the harbor, there's a few more new things. But a lot of restaurants are kind of waiting as there's a ton of new development coming in town. There's mixed use, there's residential, there's commercial, there's the harbor revamp project. So what's currently here is a good stock, but I think over the next 5 years we're gonna have double the options. But down by the harbor, Waterman's is great. There's another place called Harbor Grill, second generation restaurant. The owner is alumni of my high school, Santa Margarita High School.
Very cool.
His parents gave it to him, now he runs it. He's there most of the time.
So you've been in Orange County your whole life?
I was...
Majority of your life?
The majority of my life, yeah. When I went to college up north and did real estate up there as well. So I kind of went back and forth, but this is my jam, if you will.
That's awesome. Where can we find you when you're not working? What do you like to do?
I'm right here, Craft House.
Yeah. Okay, what's your go-to when you come here? How about that?
Garth is the bar manager here, and he created a drink called Paint It Black.
Okay.
It actually has wine, bourbon, charcoal, fresh citrus, a couple other things. It's like a dark purple, beautiful beverage. Like just aesthetically, it's incredibly looking. But if you think bourbon and wine and all these other things, do they go together?
Do they?
It is delicious.
Maybe we'll have them whip it up for us later. We're going to try some food and beverage. I was going to say that sounds very intense.
No, it's really nice. It's actually light and refreshing. You do a great job. You know, I like to exercise. We paddleboard at the harbor a lot.
Awesome.
I go wine tasting. I still go up north to San Luis Obispo County, which is like part of my business as well.
Okay.
So that allows me to pick up my wine shipments, see some friends. I come down here and I share wine with people. Once our office is built out, we're gonna start doing maybe some wine tastings or things like that. I have a lot of industry connections, clients of mine that I'm talking to getting them down here to do events, potentially, you know, tasting events, things like that.
I love it. Well, we talked offline. You mentioned that you don't like to keep business and pleasure separate, and I love that because we totally operate that way here at Modern Media Network as well. Like, we should all be friends. We should all know that we have each other's backs and can hang out and have a drink together or hear about each other's lives and be excited for each other. So we love to hear that that aligns with you and your philosophy as well.
100%. I think that's a generational difference, right? Our generation, younger millennials, were more open to collaboration and that there is no disconnect between what I do for a living and who I am as a person.
Totally.
And I think that's what gives us the ability to be successful.
Absolutely.
But also it creates value in our clients, right? Whether it's me doing this with you, or it's the restaurant, or it's my real estate clients.
Yeah.
I want them to know that this is who I am, right? It's not just what I do for money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right, like the money comes and goes, right? And for us, it's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change that I'm willing to put myself out there. I'm willing to be vulnerable with you or the crew or my clients or whatever
Sure.
it is, so that they know when the shit hits the fan,
Yup.
I'm being real with you.
Totally. We're all
And-
human, right? Like we're all in the same boat. So
Yep.
why pretend to be one certain way? Like, yeah, I like to grab a drink on the weekends with my friends. That doesn't mean I'm not amazing at what I do, though. Also,
Yep.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Rainier, it has been absolutely awesome getting to know you better. Thanks so much, and stick with us because we're gonna have some food and beverage here if you're down. Please help me welcome my next guest, Blake Melgren. He's the chef and owner here at the Craft in Dana Point. Come on over. How are you? I'm a hugger.
Alright.
Thanks for having us.
course.
Tuck under the
Pleasure.
microphones. I love the shirt, by the way.
Oh,
Super
thank you.
swaggy. Dig it. Cool.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for having us here today. We're really
Thank you guys
excited.
for coming in.
Yeah. So let's get to know you a little bit better. I always start out by asking, what's a fun fact about you? What's something people may not know about you, Blake? Throwing you for a curve right off the bat. I know.
I'm boring. I
No.
work a lot. I play a little golf.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, no, that's
That is
totally
my
fine.
life.
You like to golf, and
Yeah.
this is your life and work, right?
Yeah.
So, what gave you the idea to start your own bar and restaurant?
I mean, I started cooking at home when I was like 10 years old. I mean, it was ESPN and Food Network were like the two channels
Okay.
I watched. So
I like the dichotomy of that.
yeah, sports and food, the two things you need to get by, and then obviously music, plenty. But started cooking at home when I was like 10. My grandparents just moved and found like photos from like the first dinner I made, because
No
we always
way.
did like family dinners on Sundays. So one day I was like, oh, let me cook for everybody. But yeah, and then started working in restaurants when I was 16 and just fell in love with the business, and then started working in the kitchen in 2010, and worked up in LA for 4 years, worked in New York for a year and a half.
Oh
and
wow.
then,
Okay.
you
You cut your teeth in some major markets.
yeah, I mean, kind of, in the perfect story, come back home, open my own spot, kind of show everybody what I've learned over
Yeah.
the years. So,
That's really awesome.
yeah.
What's one takeaway from like LA or New York in your time there?
I mean, it's a whole different animal. I always joke, what New York does, LA does about 2 to 3 years later. Orange County does 5 years later. North Orange County does 5 years later, and it takes about 7 to 10 years for everything to kind of catch up
Yeah.
with South Orange County.
Okay.
So, I love it here. It's just kind of fun figuring out the dynamic of what the customers are looking for, whether it be food, drink, service-wise, all that type of stuff. Kind of learning our customer base and
Yeah.
giving them what they want. So.
Sure. So, what do they want? Let's talk about what you offer here at the Craft.
So, on the bar side, we focus on whiskeys as our primary thing. I think we have over 170 whiskeys now.
Wow. Okay.
So, and now it's just a matter of finding space to add more to the collection. All of our wines are California only. So we try to be as hyper local with everything we do. All the beer as well, California only. And if it's on draft, it's usually Southern California only.
I love that.
And then on the food side of it, we do kind of new American, whatever that exactly means is up to everybody's own interpretation. But I kind of cook naturally Southern.
Okay.
So there's kind of a Southern kind of hominess to all the food here. We work with local fishermen out of the harbor. So they catch the fish. It's a couple hours out of the water into the kitchen, fabricate it completely.
So good.
And serve that to our guests. So fresh, local. We go to the farmer's market every Saturday morning.
Okay.
So it's all about what we can source here. I mean, we live in the best region, or in the best state when it comes to produce and food and all that type of stuff. So utilizing everything readily available.
Any specials, happy hours, anything like that you want to mention?
Yeah, so we got a couple fun different things. So we do happy hour every day of the week. Hours on that vary depending upon the day. We do burger and bourbon Monday, so we do a shot of bourbon and either a regular burger or a featured burger every Monday. We do wine Wednesday, so
Nice.
40% off bottles, 20% off glasses.
Okay.
My favorite day is Whiskey Thursday. So we feature one at half off, bring in a rep, kind of let them share their knowledge with the whiskey to the guests, and then 30% off everything else and 20% off all the hard to get bottles, all your Pappy Van Winkles and things
Okay.
like that.
Awesome.
So those are kind of our fun little weekly promos. We have a great Sunday brunch as well. You know, top in Dana Point year after year. So
yeah.
Sunday Fun Day is kind of our big fun
You
day.
gotta have it in Southern California. We love our brunch.
Oh
right?
yes, bottomless mimosas, Bloody Marys. You know, we just kind of revamped the menu a couple weeks ago too for brunch. So a bunch of new things to check out.
Cool. So is that something that you're kind of always changing and it evolves as the seasons go, or?
Yeah, I mean, we changed the menu itself, the dinner menu, 4 or 5 times a year.
Okay.
The fish changes kind of based on what our fishermen catch us, and it makes it fun for us because we have no idea. They're like, oh, we're going for yellowtail and rockfish and this, and it's like, all right, well, which one are you guys gonna catch, and
Right.
which one is gonna be in our back door? So, you know, it kind of lets us be creative and forces us to do it kind of all on the fly, where it's like, all right, we got this in, so what works with this, and kind of create the fish dish on the daily, which is fun.
That's probably like your favorite part, right? Getting back to the creative side and making things.
I mean,
or-
that's like, obviously I spend a lot of my time out front, you know, kind of being the face of the restaurant, but at the end of the day, I'd rather hide it behind the
Yeah.
wall in the kitchen and create and kind of do that. But, you know, it's definitely kind of, at least for me and all my crew in the kitchen, it's our creative release for the day or
Yeah.
every couple days. And that's the reason why we do this, to create and see that ethereal smile when someone takes that bite of that dish we created. And they're like,
Yes.
oh my God, this is beyond what I imagined from reading it on the menu. So
Best feeling, huh?
that's what makes us show up to work every day.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I have been told, have some incredible cocktails and creations, so we're actually gonna go switch over to the bar and check some of them out.
Beautiful. Let's get this day started right, huh?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. You know? Let's go.
exactly.
Thanks, Blake. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for sticking with us. We're here at the craft. Blake is here, Rainier is still here, and you may be wondering who's this beautiful face. That's Carrie Bryant, our director of production. We got her out from behind the, what do you call it? The switchboard, to come to the front of the camera and have some amazing beverages with us today. So before we dive into the drinks, a little birdie just told me that you guys have like some award-winning chicken here.
Yes. So we have, according to Brad Johnson, the Orange County Register's food critic, the 3rd best fried chicken in Orange County,
Hell yeah.
and the top place that doesn't only serve fried chicken.
Yeah, like that's
So-
not your thing.
No,
You
I-
just rock at it.
We just do it on Sunday nights. So we do 3-piece fried chicken dinner, breast thigh drumstick, mashed potatoes, collard greens, cornbread, little honey butter for that.
There's that southern flair you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
you know, the inner redneck in us all. And then,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, at the end of the day, everybody needs to get together with their family and share a meal. So
Yeah.
why not better day than what's better
Sunday.
than Sunday, right?
I love it. Okay, so tell us, Blake, what do we have here? These are 2 of your signature drinks.
So yeah, this is, as Rainier mentioned earlier, the Painted Black. So we got bourbon, red wine. It's actually Doubt Pessimist in there. Some activated charcoal. So it's actually a secret menu item. You know, have to have been here for the last couple cocktail rollouts.
Okay.
So
You won't find it on the menu. if
You
come
won't
here.
find it on the menu. You got to be in the know. You know.
Oh, and this is the no, boom. So now you're in the know, and now you know that drink. You know, just call it Rainier's drink when you come here.
Yeah.
Give him a little shout.
And then we also have Girth's Old Fashioned, so Girth or Garth, whatever you want to call him. He's our bar manager, so we smoke the glass on that one. We brulee a blood orange, stick the cherry on it. There's a little amaretto in there as well. So that's kind of, it comes with the show as we smoke the glass in front of you and stuff. So that's a cocktail and a show.
Cocktail and a show. Guys, what do you think of your drinks?
So good.
Delicious,
That
as
is
always.
amazing. I've never tasted anything like that before.
It's one of those things. I like was reading it and I was like, that sounds like the worst cocktail ever. Like, why are we gonna put that on the list?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's delicious, and it's still routinely ordered.
This is good too, and you can get the like aroma.
Nice little applewood chips that
Yeah.
we smoke it on. So
So
It was the Applewood chips, right?
Yeah.
that's what got me.
it'll do it. But it just takes something that's already got a little bit of oak and a little bit of smoke in it in the aging of the whiskey, and just kind of ramps it up. And we did Ducks and Tucks last year, and we did like the best drink. And Linda Cohen from Sports Center was like, "You guys do this with every drink at the restaurant?" We're like, "Yeah, every single one." Just don't lie to me. We're like, "We're not like no, literally every glass gets treated like this. It's not just a show for you." So it's a fun cocktail, and I would say it's our number one seller
So good.
with the show.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for sharing your amazing business with us, all these drinks, food.
Pleasure.
Cheers,
Cheers,
everyone.
guys.
Cheers.
And cheers to all of you. Thanks so much for watching. This has been The Know. I'm Claire McKee, and we'll catch you next time.
Go ahead and cheers.